Those of you who have played Help Wanted 2 will know one of the achievements that is the biggest bitch to get a hold of is the Gobble Gobble achievement, where in Bonnie Bowl you have to score at least 3 strikes in a row. Bowling in VR is annoying enough without throwing in the extra challenge, and physics don't really help much either. But I'm not talking about the VR version of Help Wanted today. I'm talking about the new flat mode which released on the 20th of June, and thank Christ it did, as now I've been able to play and enjoy what might be my favourite Fnaf game of all time. I've spent the last 2 days grinding out the platinum for this game, or all achievements since I am playing on Steam, but it just doesn't sound as cool as platinum. And I was really curious to see how hard the Gobble Gobble achievement would be to get when you have a bit more control over your character, and you know what?
What's that?
It was still a bit of a ball ache. Or perhaps not. See, because I knew Bonnie Bowl would be a bit easier in flat mode, I took some time out of my playthrough to see how quick I could get this super hard achievement. I didn't manage it right away, of course, but it did teach me a few things and gave me time to experiment with the best place to throw the ball. In the end, I came up with a system where I would line my cursor up in between this light and the grate that Plush Baby jumps out from, and ever so slightly to the left of the central pin. If you have no idea what I'm chatting, you can see a visual depiction of it behind my avatar. And once I found this out, I was scoring strike after strike in my attempts, making Gobble Gobble a cakewalk. So if you're still struggling with this achievement, maybe try the positioning I've laid out here. Will it help you in the VR version of the game? Well, no. At least not as far as I can tell. If someone like Astral Spiff wants to take this further and see if there's a way of throwing the ball in the VR game to guarantee a strike, then be my guest. Just give me a shout out if you do, because once I discovered this method, I wanted to know how far I could push it. Could I bowl the world's first perfect game in Bonnie Bowl? Just because I had a system now doesn't mean the challenge was simple. There were 2 things that would often ruin my perfect run. The first is the round with the Bonnie head. One round in the game requires you to get your ball through Bonnie's mouth while it moves closer to you and is constantly closing shut. If you don't get it right, then Bonnie's head will kill you, ending the run. Because the head was getting closer, it was difficult for me to pin down exactly when I was supposed to throw the ball so that it didn't get caught on the head. And even if I did stop the head, I had to pray that my shot was as precise as possible, since I still needed to hit all the pins. If you're lucky, you may be able to send Bonnie's head back to the pins without it counting as a throw, meaning if you take your turn again, it is still possible to get the strike, which has happened to me a few times in the many attempts I took to complete the challenge. The other problem, put simply, is RNG, or random number generation. Sometimes you could have the perfect alignment, the perfect throw, and one pin will remain standing for seemingly no reason. In fact, this very situation happened to me when I was 1 strike away from my victory.
Don't you know I'm still standing better than I ever did?
Yeah, it was heartbreaking, but I was still determined to keep trying. After all, I almost bowled the perfect Bonnie Bowl game. It's a title that doesn't quite have the same ring to it. With all that out of the way, I present to you the winning attempt, and if you want to give this a go yourselves, I'd highly recommend it. Bonnie Bowl is one of my favourite parts of Help Wanted 2 after all. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.